woodcraft, helping you make woodwork.
I'll be happy with that, or I'll fiddle fart around with it for hours. I tend to get a little carried away with neatness. There is no set, do it this way or do it that way when you're measuring out your rib. When they're rounded corners, you're just going to start with a long piece and you're going to go all the way around and then cut off the excess in the end. Since these are cut corners, then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay it in here, and I'm just going to make a mark with my thumbnail, and I'm going to guess a 45-degree angle. If you like, you can, if you cut a little longer, you can always take a little off. Cut too short, you can't add. You can put a quick square up to that and draw a line on a 45-degree angle, but it's not all that critical. If it's an open angle, you can putty it in the end. There's lots of things you can do to cosmetically make it look good. You're more concerned about the structural strength. So now that I've got this first piece in, I have a longer one that is quarter sawn oak that I'm using as a tool. And the reason for this is I've got now a long surface. I hit it in the middle. I've got pressure going down both sides of the stick and the rib going into it. So I can work a larger area and consistently get that rib to go down where it needs to be in a long way rather than short little tugs. Short little tugs will give you waves, so the longer your top piece is, the more consistent it lays down. And I just have flat on the bottom and a little curve on the top. The curve is just in case my cane wants to pull out a little bit, I can flip it around and just tap it back down because I do have it tapered on one end. And that's just experience and again, trying to make it easier for me. Something that I'm not showing you is the glue. At this moment, you've got glue coming out everywhere. Ignore it. You know, you really don't want to get it on your cane, but anything on this side of it, you're fine. You can have a rag and wipe away, you know, a damp rag, because water wipes glue away better than dry. And wipe away the surface you want to keep while you're working it. But you are literally going to have glue coming out everywhere. And that's what you want. You want the glue adhesion, so adhesion.
So the type of glue that you're using doesn't discolor the cane?
No, it does not. And it dries clear. So if you're not staining it, you're okay. Once you stain it, you'll see the glue. But if you're just keeping a natural finish with a clear coat, you're fine. Yeah.
So would you stain it first before you?
No, I actually stain it last because I'm usually staining the chair with it and I'm blending colors. Your cane is never going to stain like your natural wood is. So you're always having to manipulate it a little bit more. So I do it together so I get that true, I get both sides. I can cut it in the middle somewhere. Find a happy medium.
What kind of glue would they have used back when they originally?
Oh boy, they had the best glue ever. I wish I could remember the name of it. I have an advertising in my shop that I found in a trunk one time. It is so strong, this advertisement. It's kind of a hide glue, but it's not.
It couldn't be hide glue.
No,
because keep it warm long enough.
No, it doesn't, but it's kind of the same concept. It is a glue, it is not an adhesive. I learned this yesterday. An adhesive is man-made chemicals. A glue is animal parts, natural, horse hooves, things like that. It's the difference between adhesive and glue.
The one that I tore apart and rebuilt had pitch and hide
Yes,
glue. So
they did.
A mixture of.
The Indians started that.
But I mean that's what was in the glue that I.
They've even used fish fat and PC parts to make glue. Mostly, you know, the common thing is horse hooves, but they use any kind of animal. And the Indians actually created the glues. They waterproof their hides, their clothing, with animal fat, which is now what our glues are made of, how we make glue. So the Indians actually started the whole glue process. But the glue they used back in the day was incredibly strong. I wish we had it today. I can do, when I'm repairing a trunk, which is full of glues, I can hit it with 220 pressure washer at 220 degrees and it isn't doing anything. It doesn't come loose or stop working at all. It's good stuff. Wish I remembered the name of it.
Especially when you're putting the ribs in, when they're dry.
Ribs are wet. Everything's wet. We soaked everything before we got started. And
So would you re-soak those?
mhm.
They look pretty dry.
They are getting dry. You can tell because they get hard to cut when they're too dry. And they come off in flakes. Which I'm glad you said that because I wasn't sure how quickly I should be going through this. Kind of on a time frame. In the class, we will be doing this very much in depth. And individuals will be doing their own chairs. So I learn best by doing it. I don't know about everybody else. And again, I'm more concerned about my length being right than I am my angle. Angles will take care of themselves in the end. So many different ways to fix angle problems. Getting it started and then coming back and working it all the way down. If you work it all the way down at the beginning of the run, it's going to continue to jump out at you on the other end. It's just going to frustrate you. So you just get it started and then you work on bringing it down from end to end. You can see my corner's terrible right there. I forgot to angle my first piece, so not a big deal. Don't be afraid to whack it. A good sturdy chair will take the whack. This is not a good sturdy chair though. So it may fall apart. Yeah. So if it does, which would be my luck, I'm going to just do one more piece here because that's all I have wet, and then I'm going to go into trimming it off and the final look of it.
So you've got glue running all over the place.
You got glue running
wipe it off
everywhere.
with a sponge or a towel or
Mm-hmm. Yep. I always have a damp rag.
damp rag.
You always got water next to you. So, and I'm all about disposable, so I'll use it, tear a little piece off of a paper towel, use it, throw it away. If I use it twice, I've got it all over me. I'm one of those people that if I'm around it, it's everywhere. Which annoys my husband, but
It feels so bad, did it?
yeah, I'm a little sloppy at times.
You notice you use your scissors more than you use that dikes.
Yeah.
Is it just easier, handier?
No, I just had them right here next to me.
Oh, okay.
But typically,
Utility knife might have worked.
that would work too. Typically, I use the dikes. I guess I do have them. Did I grab them?
We'll fix it.
Oh, I do have them. Yeah. A dike is a lot easier because it just won't. Yeah. But when you're doing a sideways miter, it's kind of tough sometimes where your utility knife very much would be a whole lot more exact. Again, I'm not worried right now about exact. Just showing the process, a little bit more involved with that. Always look at your ribs when they're going in to make sure the small part of the rib goes in first. Small part. If you do it the other way, the seat will not hold and you will not be able to get it efficiently in the rib. I have whacked my hand many of times, and my fingers. Whack it!
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Is it being harder because it's drying out?
Yeah,
Is it
it is. I'm talking
being
too much and
an
not
on-rail
working.
chair?
I'm talking too much and not
No, I was
working
just
fast
wondering
enough. Yeah.
if it's the on-rail chair.
That too.
or
That
if
has a
it's-
part.
Or if it's has to be wetter.
Most of the time it's because it's wet. It's
Okay.
drying out and there's no give in it. It gets stiff. A lot of times I'm also going to come back and pound on everything else as it's sitting anyways. You'll find as the glue dries, sometimes it'll want to mound, and it's no big deal to just keep coming back and tapping her all down. It's definitely not going to hurt it any. But with this chair, like you were saying, it's very dry, so it's very hard to get anything to punch into it anyways. A newer chair is going to have a lot more moisture to it, and it'll be easier to push the rib in. So, okay. So let's pretend that side is done.